It's normal for caliper brake performance to degrade over time. Eventually, you'll feel the brake levers pulling back further than you expect, especially through the winter. If you've noticed this happening, it may be time to make some adjustments. You may also need to use this procedure after fitting new brake pads.
You are going to need a set of hex keys, a brake wrench, and some thick elastic bands will be useful, but not essential. Before adjusting your brakes, you should inspect the brake cables for signs of fraying, especially at the ends. Frayed cables should be replaced. You'll also need to check your brake pads for excessive wear. Pads usually have a wear indicator line, or, like these, need replacing when worn to the end of the grooves. Next, squeeze the brake levers and check the calipers move away from the rim when released. If they don't, you either have dirt or corrosion built up in the cables, or there's a problem with the spring in the caliper. Giving your bike a proper clean after every ride will help avoid these issues in future. Before you reset your pads, make sure your wheel is correctly seated by undoing the quick release, making sure it's seated firmly in the dropouts, and then doing it up again. You can run a rubber band around the frame and the valve to keep the wheel steady for the rest of the process. Align the pads by loosening the bolt at the back and adjusting so they run parallel to the rim. You can squeeze the brake lever while adjusting to hold them in place and make sure they're parallel to the braking surface. If you find your pads squeal under braking, it's possible to reduce this by towing in the leading edge of the brake pad so it strikes first. But the adjustment should be very minor or it'll reduce the braking performance. Loosen the caliper bolt at the back of the fork or the frame. Adjust the caliper with an OBW offset brake tool or by hand, so the pads are the same distance away from the rim. Then retighten the bolt. Don't over tighten this bolt or you risk causing damage. Get a torque wrench if you're unsure. First, reset the barrel adjusters by winding them in a clockwise direction. Then unwind by 1 or 2 full turns. This will allow you to fine-tune the brake adjustment after you affix the cable. Ensure that the brake is clamped. Loosen the cable retention bolt. Squeeze the pads together and pull the slack out of the cable. Then tighten up the retention bolt. Again, don't overdo it or you will fray the cable. The pads should now be fairly well adjusted, but if you need to fine-tune them, you can use the barrel adjuster. The barrel adjuster will be located on the caliper or integrated into the cable near the headset. Winding it anti-clockwise will pull the pads closer to the rim and give a more responsive brake feel with less lever travel. It's really important to check the brakes before you ride the bike. Place the bike on a dry, solid and clean surface with no debris. Squeeze the front brake lever and push forward and down. Then repeat with the rear lever and pull back. If the wheel remains locked, then it's okay to test ride in a safe area away from traffic. So to recap, check your equipment, adjust the pads, align the caliper, adjust the cable tension, fine-tune, and check your brakes before test riding safely. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the rest of the channel. Let us know what you want more of on your BikeRadar in the comment section below.